On August 5, 2009, a security camera at a remote gas station in Oklahoma captured something deeply unsettling. A man, looking disheveled and paranoid, is seen loading a massive amount of propane tanks into his SUV. He appears to be arguing, but there is no one around him. He is yelling at the empty air. Days later, his SUV would be found abandoned and partially burned on a desolate logging road. A mile away, his family's dog was found tied to a tree. And 2 miles beyond that, the skeletal remains of his wife and 5-year-old daughter were discovered in the unforgiving wilderness. They left behind a journal filled with terrifying paranoia, a dog left behind, and absolutely zero clues. What happened to the Jamison family? Did they fall victim to the deadly woods, or were their minds playing a trick on them? Today, we are diving into one of the most bizarre and chilling unsolved mysteries in American history. To understand the mystery, we first need to understand the victims. Bobby Jamison was a 45-year-old engineer. His wife, Sherilynn, was a 37-year-old nurse. And their pride and joy was their 5-year-old daughter, Madyson. To friends and family, they were a normal, loving family. In late July 2009, the family packed up their SUV in California. Their destination was Mississippi, where Sherilynn's family lived. The plan was simple. Drive across the country, spend time with family, and eventually settle down. But they never made it. The Jamisons took a scenic route through the Kiamishi Mountains in southeastern Oklahoma. It is a beautiful area, but the woods are dense, the roads are unpaved, and it is incredibly easy to get lost. And it seems, this is where things started to go terribly wrong. As the days passed, Sherilynn's family in Mississippi grew worried. They weren't answering their phones. When the family was finally reported missing, investigators began looking into Bobby's background and found something deeply disturbing: his personal journal. The final entries were not those of a man on a family road trip. They were the frantic, paranoid writings of someone who believed they were being hunted. Bobby wrote about feeling constantly watched. He wrote about men in black suits following them. He noted that his wife and daughter were in danger, and that he had to protect them at all costs. He wrote that they were watching us. Was Bobby experiencing a severe mental health crisis? Was he suffering from paranoid delusions? Or was someone actually following them? We may never know. But his paranoia was about to lead the family into a nightmare. The last confirmed sighting of the Jamison family alive was on that day at the gas station in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. This is where the security camera caught Bobby acting erratically. But it wasn't just his behavior that was strange. Bobby purchased 14 large propane tanks. Why a family on a road trip would need 14 propane tanks remains a complete mystery. Some speculate he was planning to camp deep in the woods. Others think it was part of his paranoid delusions, preparing for an apocalypse or a siege. After the gas station, the Jamisons drove deep into the Pushmataha County wilderness, turning onto a remote, unpaved logging road. Here, they abandoned their SUV. But they didn't just leave it, they set it on fire. The fire burned out before it destroyed the vehicle, but the intent was clear. A quarter-mile away from the burned SUV, searchers found the family's dog, a pit bull mix. He was tied to a tree, frightened but unharmed. Why tie the dog up? Why burn the car? The questions were only multiplying. For over 2 months, the Jamison family was missing. The dense Kiamishi Mountains were searched by volunteers, helicopters, and bloodhounds, but the thick brush swallowed any trace of them. Then, on October 16, 2009, a hunter stumbled upon a grim discovery. Just 2 miles from where the burned SUV was found, the hunter discovered the skeletal remains of Bobby, Sherilynn, and little Madyson. They were scattered in a highly remote, rocky area. Nearby, investigators found the dog's collar. The official cause of death was listed as undetermined. There were no signs of a struggle, no bullet wounds, and no evidence of animal scavenging that would explain the scattering. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation concluded that there was no evidence of foul play. The family had simply walked into the woods and never walked out. So, what really happened to the Jamison family? The most widely accepted theory by law enforcement is a tragic accident. The terrain is notoriously unforgiving. Perhaps the SUV got stuck, and they tried to hike out. Disoriented, without enough water, they succumbed to exposure. The second theory points to a psychological break. Bobby's journal suggests he was losing his grip on reality. Did his paranoia convince him that the only way to save his family from the men in black suits was to hide them deep in the wilderness? If he led them off the trails, they would have had no chance of survival. The third theory, heavily discussed in the true crime community, is foul play. Despite the official ruling, the burned SUV, the 14 propane tanks, and the tied-up dog feel too staged to some. But without physical evidence of another person, this remains purely speculative. The Jamison Family Mystery is a haunting reminder of how quickly a normal life can unravel, and how vast, unforgiving nature can be. Whether it was a tragic accident, a tragic mental breakdown, or something darker, Bobby, Sherilynn, and little Madyson are gone, leaving behind only a burned car, a tied-up dog, and a journal full of terror. What do you think happened to the Jamison family? Let me know your theories in the comments below.